Living with curiosity means living with your eyes open, looking at things from different angles, exploring people, situations, and experiences with the heart of an adventurer. When you approach life with the posture that you already know everything, judgment and shame flow like water, poisoned, putrid water. Curiosity can help you find a clear stream to drink from and free you from the bondage of shame, because shame cannot withstand curiosity. Hello lovelies, welcome back to Squeaky's Cauldron, or welcome if this is your first time here. I'm your host, Sarah Evergreen. I am a spiritual coach specializing in inner child, shadow, and boundary work, as well as learning how to deepen your relationship with deity. Today, in the second to last Hecate's Keys video, we are going to be talking about the key of curiosity and the gate of shame that it unlocks. As always, I like to start these episodes with a prayer to Hecate. If you would like to participate with that, stay tuned. If not, feel free to jump ahead about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, and we will see you on the other side. If you are staying with me, thank you. Go ahead and get comfortable. Close your eyes if it feels safe for you to do so, and just allow my words to wash over you. Okay. Hail Hecate, Queen of Witches. Our journeys are so blessed. Each key you grant us unlocks great power. Grateful we are for all your keys. The key of connection, which reminds us we are not alone. The key of solitude, in which we may come home to ourselves. The key of forgiveness for that which we cannot change. The key of courage to face and overcome adversity. The key of desire, which brings us closer to you. The key of vision, so that we might move freely. The key of honesty, which brings us peace. The key of curiosity, so that we might live lives of truth and joy. And the key of devotion. Hecate, I live my life in service to you. Guide me. Make me ready. Illuminate my next right step. Help me to see more clearly and align more fully with my highest purpose and my highest self, so that I might better serve you, serve myself, and serve those around me. Wow. If you joined in, thank you so much for participating. And if you are just now tuning back in, thank you so much for honoring your boundaries. So let's get into it. The gate of shame. Oh my God. Shame sucks. Yeah, shame sucks. And it's something that we all navigate all the time, every day, all of us. Because it's so baked in to the society that we live in. Shame is the idea that I am bad. I am broken. There is something wrong with me. Not I've done something wrong or I've done something I'm not proud of. That's guilt. Shame is I couldn't do anything except that thing that I'm not proud of because I am uniquely fucked up. And we don't want any of that. We don't want that coming from us. We don't want that existing in us. And the only way that it can come from us is if it exists within us. When we are stuck in the gate of shame, it is impossible to see clearly. It is impossible to access our imagination. It is impossible to access possibility because it narrows your vision to this very myopic place where you are fucked up, you are broken, and then also the world around you becomes a very dangerous place, becomes threatening. Because what if somebody finds out that you're broken? What if somebody finds out that you're a horrible, horrible person who's completely irredeemable? That's shame. And it makes everything so small and so constricting and so tight and so dangerous. It is so prevalent in our society. We can see it coming up in cancel culture where people are afraid to exist as they are, in fear of getting doxxed or canceled from the internet, in fear of having their jobs ruined. Now, I'm not saying that people shouldn't be held accountable for doing something that's hurtful, but being held accountable for doing something that's hurtful is different than saying you did something hurtful, therefore you're done. There's no forgiveness there. There's no space for accountability when we're stuck in shame. This also comes up in religious abuse, comes up in abuse just in general, on both sides too. The abuser aiming it at their victim, and then everybody else aiming that at the abuser. Instead of being able to say, wow, you went through so much, and this behavior is not acceptable, and we can see you're a human. And how can we go about making it so that you don't feel the need to exert your power in this way? Instead, we just shove the abuser out the door, and there's no support. There's no way to grow or change or become a better, kinder, more loving person. That's shame. The key of curiosity unlocks that gate, because shame cannot exist in the light of curiosity. It just can't. It crumbles. Shame breeds in the dark, in the diminished, in the pushed out. But when we bring that light of curiosity, that light of, what is this? What's underneath this? What's inside of this? What's behind this? What shaped this? Where did this come from? Why does it exist? Why does it exist in this way? From a non-judgmental place, from a place of genuine, I wonder what this is, shame falls away. But when we come at it from an interrogative way, what is this? Why is this? How could this be? How could you be? How dare you? You feel the difference? That judgment, that constriction, that pain that comes through in those questions, that's not curiosity. That is, I am looking for yet more reasons to imprison you. And we're looking to get through that. We're looking for freedom. We're looking to unlock the gates that keep us in bondage. So I'm curious. I would love to hear from you. Drop me a comment, send me an email. Where in your life do you feel like you have the shutters of shame up? Either directed at yourself, directed at someone else. Where do you narrow your vision to just one thing and not allow something to exist as a holistic situation or person or experience? Let me know. How does this relate to Hecate? Hecate is the lantern bearer, the light in the darkness, the guiding light, the light that illuminates the next right step, the light that cuts through shame. She brings this illumination into the darkest of places. She lights up that which has been shoved to the edges of society, that has been shoved to the edges of acceptability. She is I want to say patron saint. That is not the right word. She is the ally of the oppressed, of the people who many of us, or at least many of us in terms of mob rule, would rather forget existed altogether. And this oppression, this edge of society, this is a thing that exists within us, not just based on society. Anything that's been pushed to the edge within you is the thing that Hecate is going to take the side of. Now, this might be challenging to hear, but I'm going to say it anyway because this is my experience. For example, if you have put the religious right into the position of big bad, irredeemable, evil, that is what Hecate is going to shine her light on. That is the shame that needs to be dismantled. Not because the behaviors of these people and these groups is fine, is good, is life-affirming, not at all, but because the people in these groups are human beings, and every human being deserves love, deserves compassion. You can vehemently disagree with their beliefs, with their actions, with how they choose to show up in the world, and still offer them love. Hecate asks you to look at the things that make you uncomfortable. Look at the things that don't feel right. And instead of just saying, that doesn't feel right, no more, you say, that doesn't feel right, why? That doesn't feel right, why? And why? And why? What is it about this? What is it about this thing that I'm condemning that exists in me? Because it does. I guarantee you. That behavior exists in you somewhere. That posture on life exists in you somewhere. And it is your responsibility to own it, love it, embrace it, not act on it, not bring harm into the world, but love it in yourself, because when you don't, you put it into shame. And when you put it into shame, that becomes a broken piece of you, a piece that you can't control, because that's the story. This is broken. I'm not responsible for it. Hecate will guide the way into the scary places if you trust her and you trust yourself to know that exploring those scary places, exploring those things that are uncomfortable, does not make you that thing. If anything, it does the opposite. It helps you understand it, and it helps you understand how those things come out in you. Sermon over. If you are enjoying this episode and you're on YouTube, please drop a like below. And if you are listening to this on a podcast, please rate and review on your favorite podcast app. Also, if this is your first time here or your 15th time here and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do it. I know you want to, so you don't miss any future episodes, because they're baller and they're just getting better. The key of curiosity builds off of the other keys. I see 3 keys in particular that, for me, really deeply inform the key of curiosity. And that is the key of acceptance or forgiveness, the key of courage, and the key of honesty. Starting off with the key of acceptance. Acceptance of what is. When we do not step into that, when we say, no, that shouldn't be that way, then we don't allow ourselves the ability to start examining what is, to be curious about what is. The key of courage gives us the ability to look closer at things that are uncomfortable, that don't feel good. And the key of honesty, much like the key of acceptance, again, gives us that ability to see what's happening, to see what the thing is. Curiosity is a prerequisite for creation and creativity. In order to make something new, we first have to take the posture of, what if this thing existed? And that's a curious question. What if I could make this or that other thing? What if? What if I started a YouTube channel? What if I started a podcast? What if I wrote a book? What if I had a baby? What would happen? What would I learn about myself? It is a prerequisite for soul connection with yourself and with others, because when we negate curiosity when relating to ourselves, we don't go any deeper. We just accept what's on the surface, or we fight with what's on the surface instead of being inquisitive about what's driving this, where does this come from, what shape does it take, how does it serve me, how does it not serve me. And the same with others. We can take someone at quote-unquote face value, which is actually how we've decided to see them, how we've decided to perceive them through whatever we've got going on in our brains already, instead of being curious and asking questions and getting to know them, and in that way getting deeper into that connection. It is a prerequisite for problem solving. If you see a problem and you're not curious about how maybe things could be better, then it's just going to stay a problem. Curiosity is a prerequisite for so many things. Tell me about a time you practiced curiosity and what came out of it. What exciting, interesting, different things than you expected came out of it. On to the mundane practice for working with Hekate's key of curiosity. This one is inspired by a podcast that my boyfriend does called Switch Flicks. They take a movie or a TV show that they're reviewing, sort of, and one person will take the side of love the movie, the other person will take the side of hate the movie. So they start their discussion, love, 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 hate, 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 and at any point in time, one or the other of them can say switch. And just that quickly, it has to go from love to hate and hate to love. And so you find yourself arguing for the other side of things, so to speak. And in that way, it fucks with your brain in such a beautiful way. Really like pattern disrupting. To practice this, if you want to talk about movies, fine. But I would challenge you to go a little bit deeper. Talk about actual topics. Something that really gets you. Get a trusted friend to do this with you, or you can even do this with yourself as you're writing or recording. Just some space that you know that you can say things and you're not going to be criminalized for it. You need to be able to have that freedom to say whatever comes out of your mouth and know that you're safe. And then argue it out. Switch, argue the other side, switch, argue the other side, and let your brain become more facile in this way. If this is all fascinating to you, or if I am fascinating to you, and you would like to work with me on a one-on-one basis, please do check out my coaching offers in the show notes. I've got a couple offers available, and I also do custom meditations. So if you're interested in working with me, you can schedule a free 20-minute discovery call just to do a vibe check, see how we might work well together. That link is in the show notes, both for the Patreon and for the coaching offers, and I will talk to you soon. Now for the magic practice of utilizing Hekate's key of curiosity. I want you to try something new, a new practice. Something you've never done before. Something that's felt interesting to you, but a little or a lot outside of your comfort zone. Something that maybe takes from a tradition that you're not used to, or utilizes a material that you're not used to. For example, if you are a herbalist, try something to do with high ritual. Something that's very structured and exoteric in that way, that has like writings and shit that you need to study a little bit about before you go into it. If you're used to working with candles, maybe try some blood magic. You can check out, I have one episode on blood magic on the podcast that you can check out. It's old, and it's part of a 2-part series that never got finished, which is fine. Maybe I'll make them into videos at some point. Probably will, because blood magic is cool. Try something that feels uncomfortable. And put your judgment aside. Recognize that you're moving outside of your comfort zone. So you want to ask Hekate to support you and guide you in this, to lend her lantern as you're taking step, and know that like you're not shifting your tradition, you're not shifting how you're going to be practicing in the future. You are just opening your brain up a little bit. You are exploring your curiosity a little bit here. Be prepared that you will probably feel kind of foolish at some point, if not during this entire process, which is great. If you're starting to feel foolish, you're on the right track, baby. The most curious card in the entire tarot is the Fool. The Fool. So foolish. to jump off the cliff and see what catches him. And the Fool is also the player that walks through every single step of the major arcana. The Fool is the card that represents us. So be foolish. That will get your curiosity going. And it might help to carry a piece of iolite. Curiosity is a posture that will literally and often quite quickly change your life. It can transform relationships, it can deepen and evolve your magical practice, and it can start to heal wounds that are decades or even generations old. Follow the light of the lantern down a new path. Trust me, the world isn't nearly as scary as you've been led to believe. To connect more deeply with the key of curiosity, check out this meditation. And until next time, my lovelies, as always, use your voice.